Oh, that is good soup. Even better with a bit of butter on some bread.
Hello, welcome. I'm Jamie and this is Eat Homemade. Today I'm thinking let's create a lovely cozy soup because we're having a typical New Zealand spring day here where it's gale force. We live in a bit of a wind tunnel, so it's all just funneling through. And luckily I don't have to be outside, but my wonderful husband is out there in this weather and he is working so hard at creating a big trellis area that I've been wanting for a while. And he is mixing concrete out in these winds, which isn't very easy. And he's also putting in the big posts and building this amazing trellis. So I can't wait for it to be finished. And I also want him to come in this afternoon and have a beautiful, cozy, rustic soup. So I have got these lovely big potatoes, big sack of potatoes, which turns out to be so cheap when you buy them like this. I've got some smoky bacon in the fridge and I've got some onions. So this is a potato and bacon soup, and I'm going to serve it with some homemade buns that I'm going to put some garden herbs and some garlic in as well. So super delicious, cozy, comforting, just what we need to warm up on this really yucky day. But it doesn't matter what kind of day you're having, this soup fits into all kind of occasions. I'm also going to double what I normally make so that I can feed my family tonight, but then I can put the rest in the freezer as well. So that is going to make life so simple. These potatoes are a bit dirty and the skins are a bit thicker, so I'm going to go ahead and peel them. But some of the potatoes that I've got in the fridge that I want to use up, the skins aren't too bad and they're nice and clean, so I'm not even going to peel them. So that's how easy it can be. If you want to switch out your onion that I'm going to use for a leek, go and do it. If you want to switch out anything, go and do it. Make the soup your own. Put your own flavors in there. You could add some herbs, whatever. It's that kind of soup that you can really just make it your own. So I'm going to also share some updates if you're interested in my trellis area. It's going to be a special area. My mum has given me some hydrangea plants that she started off, and when I think of my mum I always think of hydrangeas, so it's going to be really special to be able to plant those in my trellis area and have and have something that's special to my mum growing there as well, because I don't get to see her very often and family is so important. So I'm going to do that and I'm going to share the updates with you. But in the meantime, let's get started on our super easy, delicious, comforting potato and bacon soup. And just while the onions and the garlic were cooking down in the butter and softening, I very roughly chopped about 400 grams of some shoulder bacon. And I'm going to fry that up till it's got a bit of colour. So now that this has been sort of cooking away in the butter, it's starting to get some colour, almost like it's caramelising, and you're starting to get some of those lovely sticky bits on the bottom. So we'll give that a stir and we can go ahead and now add our potatoes. So this has got a heap of potatoes going into this because it's going to feed a lot of people or feed my family twice. And I've very rustically chopped these potatoes and partly peeled them. And as I add my last lot of potatoes in, you can see that I haven't even peeled these ones. This is just making life so easy because these potatoes were clean and they have a very thin skin on them. So completely up to you if you want to peel them or not. Now I'm going to put a good amount of salt in here, and of course we will try this before serving to make sure that it's got enough seasoning. I'm also going to add some dried mustard powder. Now that I've added my water in here, it can simmer away for quite a while until all of the potatoes fall apart when I give them a stir. So this has been bubbling away gently on the stove for about 45 minutes, and as you can see, it is full of beautiful flavours. It looks amazing. The potato, when I stir, is just falling apart. And that's exactly how I like the soup to be, because it's going to thicken itself. And I'm actually going to let this cool a little bit. You let this cool a little bit before you do this part, but I'm not going to. I'm going to be super careful, and I'm going to mash it down just a bit so that the potato really does just sort of fall to pieces and thicken the soup that we've got in there. So now that it's had a mash, you can see how beautiful and thick the soup is, and that there aren't really any big hunks of potato in here. It's just going to be the most divine soup to mop up with those lovely buns that I made. Welcome back. The soup is all ready. I cook it for longer than you really need to cook a soup so that it all does just fall apart. Now I'm going to grab a bowl and I'm going to pop some of this delicious, delicious soup in here so that I can show you how it's looking. The bacon is just, oh my goodness. What am I doing? How am I going to show you this? The bacon is just so tasty. I've already had a little taste because I wanted to make sure that it had just the right amount of salt and just the right amount of pepper in there. Because we're not using a stock in here, you want to make sure that you are seasoning it really well. So on the top of this yummy soup, I'm just going to add some cream, which when the person goes and has it, they can, just stir the cream in, do whatever they like with it. And then I'm going to add some parsley and some chives to the top. And that's it. That's all done. I'm going to dish up the rest for my family. And then the other half, of course, is going to go in the freezer, which is going to make life so easy on one of those stormy nights when I think, oh my goodness, what are we going to have for tea? I'll remember that I've got that soup in the freezer. But let me show you my lovely buns. So these were so easy to make as well. And I've put a little piece of sage that I had as well on top, a little bit of olive oil when I've cooked those in the oven. And they are going to go so incredibly well with a little bit of butter and then dipped into our delicious soup. I think my husband is going to come in any minute and be able to tuck into this lovely comforting soup. I hope that you will give it a try. So easy. So really good for the budget as well. It doesn't cost a lot of money. And like I said, if you want to switch out something, like switch the bacon out for a bacon hock that you might have, or for something else, use your imagination and make it your own. I can't wait to hear what you do with this recipe. Thank you so much for joining me. I so appreciate it.